thanks for following us all season. And obviously this regular season is over. And but what I want to tell you is, we have tested daily since like the end of September with what they call a PCR test, where we get it's the most accurate test, and we do it every day. Our whole staff, players, and we haven't had one positive. And finally, when the ACC tournament started, uh, we shifted from doing Mako, that's our PCR, and we did the PCR that's done for the ACC. And the day when we went over for practice on Monday, uh, we did our own PCR, and we also did the PCR for the ACC. Both were negative. The next day, on Tuesday, we actually did two PCRs in Greensboro. That's the day of the Boston College game. And we did one before the game, negative, and then we did one after the game, negative. On Wednesday, which was the Louisville game, uh, again, we did one PCR. We didn't have to do it before the game. And we did it after the game, and a positive came up, which we found out in the wee hours of the morning. Uh, what we did, or what our people did, who've done an amazing job, they had Mako do two PCR tests, like one at 2 in the morning and another following that, and they were both positive. Once you got that and the contact trace, it became apparent that you would have to quarantine the team, and that's what we're doing. And we're following all the medical protocols that we followed all year long, and that's the only way to go. And it's the safest, and it's the right thing to do. I'm very proud of the fact that our kids did an amazing job here on campus, and really being and mitigating, living in the hotel, not really being on campus. Uh, Really, very difficult. And we're not the only team that's done that. Obviously, teams have done that, but I think at Duke, they've been amazing in how they've tried to keep the virus off campus. And for us never to have a positive until now is kind of incredible. And um, I'm proud of our guys for that that commitment, the commitment that they've made, and just you know whatever fate has it that it happened now, and how could it happen now? Well, it did, and then we will do the right thing, just like we have done the right thing the entire year. And for all of our fans to know, there's so much that's been put out during the season. We only did not play one game, and that was a rescheduled game from a postponed game against Gardner Webb in November. And we could have rescheduled it for December 19th. And after we played Notre Dame on December 16th, we felt for the mental health of our players, they needed to go home. In order to then quarantine and be available for, our goal was to play 20 conference games. And so we could not play that game and let them go home and still satisfy the quarantine. So what we did is not reschedule, do our quarantine, and then we were ready to play Pitt right after Christmas. And Pitt had a virus problem, and then we were ready to play Florida State, and they had a virus problem. And then we played 18 games. We were ready to play 20 conference games. The ACC, there were 28 or 29 games that were not played, compared to like the Big Ten with 4 not being played, the Pac-12 with 4. And so, we did not cancel the season. Like all this stuff is kind of crazy. We were ready to play all of our games, all of them, except the one that we did not reschedule. And that's the way it is. And if anyone wants to take another take, their take is wrong. This is exactly what happened. And we felt that, the more conference games you can play, the better. And that's why we played 18 of them, and we're ready to play 20.
Duke All Access is brought to you by Coca-Cola. Together taste better. By Ford. Built for victory. Built for the Carolinas. Contact your Carolina Ford dealer today. And by Gatorade. Win from within.
Don't wait for tomorrow. Make the days count. Gatorade has carbs to fuel and electrolytes to help replenish, so you can count on the proven formula. Nothing beats Gatorade.
Nearly 150 years of experience goes into making each and every Continental tire. So you can trust with total confidence that our tires will deliver superior performance, no matter where the road takes you. Continental Tire, for what you do.
Today tastes like staying in, like our go-to place. Tastes like anticipating, and a little bit like waiting.
Food's here.
Today tastes like a piece of the action, and it never tasted this good.
Because of this, we built Ford Super Duty to be our most capable heavy-duty pickup. Because of this, we gave the all-new 2021 F-150 an available 12-inch touchscreen. Because of this, we built Ranger with a terrain management system. And because Ford trucks are built for this, you made Ford America's best-selling brand. Don't miss the chance to get a 2020 F-150 with up to $10,531 in total savings at your Carolina Ford dealer.
Don't wait for tomorrow. Make the days count. Gatorade has carbs to fuel and electrolytes to help replenish, so you can count on the proven formula. Nothing beats Gatorade.
Duke 360, presented by Continental Tire, for what you do.
We're coming up on the 20th anniversary of the 2001 Duke National Championship team. It's one of the great teams in Duke history. Featured 5 future NBA players. What a team that was. I can speak from experience. When I played at Army, we played that team in 2001. It did not go well for the Army Black Knights that night. But man, what a team that was to not only play against, but also a team for Duke fans to root for. It's one of only 3 teams to average over 90 points a game in school history. Think about that. Average over 90 points a game. They had the most 3-pointers in school history. Everybody played so well together. And it was a team that really evolved as that season went on, got better and better as the weeks went by. And of course, the leader of that team, the real compass and heart and soul of that team, was Shane Battier. His role at both ends of the floor. He was the National Defensive Player of the Year, but his offensive game throughout his time at Duke got better and better and better, and he became a real offensive player by his senior year. He obviously was tremendous on the defensive end. He was a terrific rebounder. He was a guy who could rebound the basketball, could start the break with a really good outlet, could start the break himself in handling the ball. He really ran the floor. He was great at that trail 3 where he'd outlet it and then he'd follow the play. And then Jay Will or Duhon or some of those guards would be able to find him with that trail 3. He set a school record at one point that year with 9 threes in one game. He was outstanding at the basket. He was, whether it was tip dunks, tip rebounds, whether it was gathering an offensive rebound and going back up, whether it was driving the ball to the basket. Shane Battier's impact on that team was tremendous. And he saved his best for last in that Final Four, in that national championship. He was the most outstanding player in that 2001 Final Four. He was the ACC tournament MVP, first team All-American, and of course had his jersey retired. Nobody will forget Shane Battier and what an important role he played throughout his Duke career, but especially in that run to the 2001 national championship.
The 2001 national championship team, really faced amazing adversity right the last week of the regular season when Carlos broke his foot in our Maryland game. The last home game, Maryland beat us, and we had to change. That next morning, we revamped our system. We started to really push the ball even more. Inserted Chris Duhon into the starting lineup, and Nate James, he had started every game. We brought him off the bench, and right after that meeting, he took Chris Duhon over and said, "You do this," the ultimate teammate. And then we shared roles. Casey Sanders, Reggie Love, they ran the court and they filled in, and then we finally got Carlos back during the Final Four, and he started the last half of the championship game against Arizona. But when I see all the injuries that occur now, when you look over the history of different programs, you can do that. What could have happened with a number of teams. In our program, you could do that in 4 or 5 years. Where what if guys were healthy? North Carolina could do that. A number of teams could do that. And then in 2001, though, we were able to come up with a formula that still proved to be successful and win the whole thing.
Let's talk about math. Fuel points math. For every dollar you spend at Harris Teeter, you get a fuel point. 100 fuel points equals 10 cents off per gallon. 200 fuel points equals 20 cents off per gallon. 1,000 fuel points equals $1 off per gallon on quality fuel. And if you're shopping at Harris Teeter with your Vic card, your fuel points are already adding up. Check the bottom of your receipt. Harris Teeter Fuel Points, an easy way to save on fuel.
See harristeeter.com for details.
Nearly 150 years of experience goes into making each and every Continental tire. So you can trust with total confidence that our tires will deliver superior performance, no matter where the road takes you. Continental Tire, for what you do.
She's the one, and you know it. At Reeds.com, we're making it easy to find the perfect ring from home. With helpful advice from our online jewelry experts, safe and discreet shipping, and beautiful ring packaging, you'll be confident the moment will be as perfect for her as she is for you. As a trusted jeweler for over 70 years, Reed's Jewelers will be here to make both of you feel like family. Long after she says yes.
Because of this, we built Ford Super Duty to be our most capable heavy-duty pickup. Because of this, we gave the all-new 2021 F-150 an available 12-inch touchscreen. Because of this, we built Ranger with a terrain management system. And because Ford trucks are built for this, you made Ford America's best-selling brand. Don't miss the chance to get a 2020 F-150 with up to $10,531 in total savings at your Carolina Ford dealer.
Very excited to welcome in our next guest, Dr. Terry Kim. Dr. Kim and I will go into it, but we've had a great history. I think it's great, at least. But Dr. Terry Kim from the Duke Eye Center. Doc, thanks for being with us today.
John, thanks for having me on the show. Great to be here.
Doc, do you want to talk about the importance of eye health and eye screenings? Obviously, every year you screen our team, and would love to hear you talk about that.
John, it's hard to believe that with 2021, this will be our 20th year of doing the annual eye screening for the Duke basketball team. And, you know, it's something I'm passionate about, having been a Duke undergrad and medical student, and of course, a huge Duke Hoops fan. It's kind of cool to kind of give back. It's an important thing because, you know, in 2020, we published a paper documenting the findings of our screenings and also reviewing some of the eye injuries that Dr. Ellis Wisely and I published. And we also did a book chapter with Dr. Amendola looking at, you know, the whole book is on basketball and the science of basketball and the injuries that occur. And we did a chapter in that. So, you know, there's a lot of information there. And if you look at the statistics, John, basketball is a sport where, you know, it's probably the sport that has the most common eye injuries compared to the other sports. So it's an important area. And the screenings give us a good idea of, you know, the eye problems that we've been with the athletes, and also getting them addressed at an early level so that they can be, you know, functioning at their highest level on the court.
Well, you mentioned it, Doc, but and I experienced this firsthand. You know, when you talk about prevention and also treatment of eye injuries, you know, it's about a little over 10 years ago when I had an eye injury playing for the Miami Heat Summer League. I think it's a credit to the relationship that you've had with our program. I knew immediately you were the first person I called, and we worked through my issues. But talk about what's your experience been like with that, and how have the screenings helped, and also how do you prevent some of these eye injuries?
John, I'm never going to forget that day that I got that phone call from you, the discussion that we had, and me flying out to see you and your parents, and walking you through that, because it's hard to understand the impact of something like that, an eye injury, in your case, a pretty severe eye injury.
And can I just say, I think eye health and eye injuries, there's something you take for granted. You don't go into practice or a basketball game thinking about your vision. And so that really was a wake-up call for me. And I am eternally grateful for you and all the help you've given me throughout these years and the support. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you.
I appreciate that, John. But, you know, I feel like part of the team, and that's what I'm here for. I'm here to take care of your eyes. I know the level that you guys perform at.
Right.
And we want to give you everything we can. And vision is a critical part of that. And we've learned a lot about that. And so, you know, these eye injuries that occur, most of them, if you look at the statistics, are, you know, corneal abrasions and subconjunctival hemorrhages, which is when you get the red spot on the eye. But some of them can be pretty serious. And and I think if you look at, you know, prominent players throughout the years that have had eye injuries, I think when Amar Stoudemire had his retinal detachment, and when he's with Phoenix, you could actually see him come out wearing goggles, right? So that was the first time I think you saw, you know, prime-time NBA player wear goggles. And others, like Horace Grant, others you've seen from time to time related to previous eye injuries. So to your point, when you have that eye injury, that's when you realize, wow, this is important to do. But unfortunately, you don't see many folks wearing them because they impede performance. So the American Academy of Pediatrics and American Academy of Ophthalmology have really encouraged kids who are playing sports to wear protective eyewear. And that's important because we want to keep them healthy, and, you know, we want them to have a long career. But that is something that, you know, it's an area that, and John, you alluded to it, if you look at over the last 20 years, the eye injuries that have occurred, I think Coach K will agree. Surprised at how many have happened over the years. Surprised at some of the eye injuries that have occurred that have required surgery and intervention. So this is something to be taken seriously. So I'm glad to be a part of that, and anything that we can do to heighten the awareness of eye injuries in all across sports, but certainly in basketball, whether it's at the collegiate or professional level, that will be a positive thing.
Well, Dr. Kim, thank you for taking the time. Thank you for all that you and your team do, and thanks for joining us.
Now to the left to Johnson, looking inside, stolen by Stewart. Picked off that pass, and here we go the other way. DJ in transition. On the drive, a hop step, the Euro step, and the bucket.
Duke Basketball is brought to you by DukeStore.com. Free shipping on all standard orders.
Don't wait for tomorrow. Make the days count. Gatorade has carbs to fuel and electrolytes to help replenish, so you can count on the proven formula. Nothing beats Gatorade.
It's bow time.
Dad, we're hungry.
Yep, to the grill.
Out of gas on game day? Drop a big bow box on it. Game on. Feed a family of 4 with 8 pieces of scratch-made chicken, biscuits, fixins, and tea.
It's bow time.
Today tastes like staying in. Like our go-to place. Tastes like anticipating. And a little bit like waiting. Today tastes like a piece of the action, and it never tasted this good.
Even though we can't have everyone gathered, we found new ways to make each occasion special. We're keeping your gifting experience both safe and personal through Reads.com, answering all your questions and guiding you to the perfect present, just like we have for over 70 years. Family always finds a way to celebrate life's moments together, no matter what. You won't just shop with confidence at Reed's Jewelers and Reads.com. You'll feel like family.
Don't wait for tomorrow. Make the days count. Gatorade has carbs to fuel and electrolytes to help replenish, so you can count on the proven formula. Nothing beats Gatorade.
Vintage Duke.
He's going to take it down the lane, in the air, shoves it up, got it at the buzzer! Look what up is winning! 63-62. Got inside, missed the runner. Zion the rebound. Long bounce pass to Jones. Reverse layup, good. How about this run in Charlotte? All the way to an ACC title for Duke, as they knock off Florida State 73-63 to claim their 21st in school history. And Zion Williamson is the star in the Queen City.
Well, the ACC tournament is the granddaddy of all the tournaments. It's why all these conferences have tournaments. And whoever it was who came up with the idea of having the tournament, at that point, you know, wow, only one team could go for a long time. You talk about intense games, and really, you know, a number of the great teams in college basketball never made it to the NCAA tournament, which made the NCAA tournament less. You know, I cannot even imagine what it was during that time, the intense pressure. By the time I got to the ACC, obviously that had changed. I always felt, especially in Greensboro, it really was a celebration of college basketball. You know, where fans from all the teams came to Greensboro. Greensboro was such a good town, and the people put their arms around you and hugged you, and they hugged the tournament, and then we were fortunate to win a number of times in Greensboro, which made it even better. Really, the basic key to winning the tournament is having an outstanding team that can win. And so I wish I could tell you there was some magic potion that I gave them, but basically I coached a lot of really outstanding young men and teams, and they loved playing in that tournament. You know, they wanted to become ACC champs. And we had good teams. We had really good teams. And then during that period, some of the individual performances, you know, JJ basically won a couple tournaments for us. You know, the Boston College championship, the NC State championship, even up in DC, the Georgia Tech championship. I mean, that kid was, you know, I think in the history of the tournament, the number of times won and one player being responsible, it would be him. It would be him. What amazing performances. Well, when we won those 4 games in 4 days, they were 4 amazing games. What great basketball. And, you know, that team was the most injured team I think I've coached at Duke. Were multiple injuries. Like, the only guy who went through the season without wearing a boot was Kennard. And, you know, he was the guy and had a great year and obviously then went pro. But it seemed like we got healthy then. And the guys were great guys, and then they just hit it. And it was really amazing basketball. Yeah, because the teams that we beat were really good. Yeah, were really good. They were just great basketball games. You know, the turnaround of our team from, you know, look, we got really kicked against North Carolina and Chapel Hill. And when we came back right after the game, we met in the locker room and said, look, you know, that was our worst performance. You know, it's the regular season is over. We're going to play well, and we're going to be together and ready for the postseason. And we had a good meeting. And then next day of practice was excellent. We went to Greensboro for practice. The guys were great, and it showed. I mean, we played 2 of our best games of the whole year, and maybe our best game against Louisville. And you never know when a young team comes together. Like in a normal season, this might have been February 1st or something, where you've played X number of games, 20 games, and all of a sudden it hits. You know, it hits. And with this type of season, this young team, it was, you know, it never caught up completely until right at the end. And again, who knows what would have happened against Florida State, but I know our guys would have been ready. I'm sure Leonard Hamilton's team would have been ready too.